this. Okay, good. So good evening, students. This is Abdul Wali. Thank you for joining. Please show your thumbs up if you are able to hear and see me. Great. Thank you. So I would like you to ask to join quickly, all of you. I think I see only 60, so we need at least another 10 students. So can you please WhatsApp them to join quickly? So we have a panelist here. Hi, Nitish. Ranita, are you here?
Yes, sir.
So are you able to see the panelists?
No, sir. We are able. I am able to see only the poster, sir. Hunar.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The pamphlet.
Yeah. Now can you see?
Slide right to left in the poster. You can see panels in the screen. So
No,
Now you
double
sir.
can
tap
see.
on the double tap on the person you want to see. So you can pin the video. You can only see them.
Farhat Rahmatullah, sir.
Yes. Double tap on him. You can pin his video and you can see only his video.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
it's my privilege to be a moderator for this very interesting session. And I have with me young talented Farhat Rahmatullah and Shadan and Nazma. So let me give few points about this young talent. Farhat works for Biosdorf as a commercial manager for country. He's about 29 years. And I have Shadan works for FedEx, close to 27. And I have Nazma Sayed works for 3M, close to 28, 29. So they're all below 30s. So the reason why I'm bringing them here is to give a kind of motivation for all of you that you can do wonders if you want to work hard. So these are the three examples you have in front of you. Who is doing very good at their career, and I thought they will throw a lot of light for most of you on how to choose early career option. And now I switch to the panelists to introduce themselves, and in 60 seconds or 90 seconds. So I will start with uh, Farhat. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much for having us here. We are really happy to address your students. We've heard a lot about your initiatives and the progress of students in the program so far. Uh, just to quickly tell you about what I do, starting with my name is Farhat Rahmatullah. I'm the country commercial manager for Biosdorf, managing the UAE country. Biosdorf perhaps is not very familiar to the people, but Biosdorf is the parent company and the manufacturer for brands like Nivea, Hansaplast, Eucerin. These are the few of them. So I've been privileged to reach a point in my career where I am managing the whole UAE market for this business. And to briefly tell you what I do on a day-to-day basis, I have a team of 200 people in the country who work with the whole distribution business, sales, marketing, operation, supply chain, logistics. So all aspects of the business on day-to-day operations fall under my role. I think as the program progresses, we'll talk about how I got here, what decisions I had to make that led me to success very early in my career.
Thank you. Thank you, Farhat. So now I will move to Shadan. So can you please brief us about yourself?
Thank you and everybody. My name is Aisha Shadan, and I've been living in Dubai for about 4 years now. I had moved here for my education. I did my master's in international business, and I've been working for FedEx Express now for 3 years. Joined as an intern, and it's been great so far. I work as a freight specialist, and my role basically requires me to work with the commercial team and the sales team, giving pricing solutions pertaining to volumes and country-wise restrictions. So it's been great so far. Been supporting UAE for a year and now Oman and Bahrain recently.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha, for a lovely introduction. Yes. Now I will move to Nazma.
Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you so much for having us here. So my name is Nazma. So I have done my bachelor's in Canada. We moved here to Dubai to do my master's in international business in Hult Business School. So I've been here in Dubai almost about 4 years now. I'm liking it. It's a very nice place. I got a campus interview and placement in 3M, Applied Science. I work as a business analyst there. So I do a lot of analysis within the sales, how the products are selling, where our competition is doing, and how we can increase our sales by connecting to different sources of businesses and to achieve better profit for the organization. So yeah, I think as the session goes on, you'll know more about me and how I made these choices.
Thank you, Nazma.
Excuse me,
today's
sir.
topic. Yeah. Yes.
Sir, it's not audible, sir. It would be better if they speak bit louder. Sorry, ma'am.
So it's not audible.
No, sir.
Okay, I think we can a little closer.
It's you need to
Okay.
increase your volume for a little bit.
Yeah, we can speak louder.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you able to
Now
hear
it's
us?
audible. Yes, sir.
Better?
Okay, great.
Let's be
All right.
louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Pranita. Okay, so today's topic is about how to choose early career options. I think this is $1 million question, right? And today we are going to really brainstorm with the same talent and at the same time with my students and want to find out the ways which we can really choose a better career at the beginning. So the objective and goal is give you some clarity on how to choose a early career options. Okay. Now, starting with the first question. So there is a myth here. The right career for you depends on your interest, your personality, and your skills. This is a very popular myth. And I would like to challenge our panelists on their opinion. So what's your opinion on this myth? So let me start with again Farhat. Yes, Farhat. What's your opinion?
I think I would partially agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
I would partially agree that your personality is a key driver to your
Sir, it is not
continue
audible.
to what you choose as your career. But skills are something that can be acquired. Your personality can be shaped with the time. Your interests can change. So this is not necessarily entirely dependent on what you choose, but it can be a strong motivator that drives you to success in what you choose.
I'm going to now, Aisha. Again, you have any other opinion on it? So, is this myth? Is, in your opinion, is it right, or is it partially right or partially wrong? So, what's your opinion on this myth?
I think it's partially right as well. Primarily because I think personality is something that it changes with time, and you tend to learn and you tend to develop your skills and interests over time. So it's about the mindset. As long as you're open to the idea of changing your thoughts and realizing what you really want, and if that is your personality, I think with time you really can decide what is best for you and work on those skills and work in that direction.
Well, so two panelists have partially agreed, and now I would like to move to the third panelist. So I hope she will disagree for the for the betterment of the discussion. So, given a choice, Nazma, would you like to change your current job, or what's your
I wouldn't say I would change my
uh,
job, but
uh,
definitely, I mean, I think career definitely, if I ever want to choose career, and choice, the initial choice definitely was based on this myth, believe it or not. It was my interest, it was my personality at that time, and it was the skills that I had. And definitely these are, growing, changing all the time. As time goes on within your career, your personality changes, your interests change, your skills develop. So definitely, initially for initial beginning, definitely you can maybe base your choice on this myth. But as things evolve, as you evolve as a person, I think this will start changing, and your career options and your career choices will also, endure the change. So definitely, I would say maybe this would be your initial bet, but things change.
but, I have another opinion. So let me become a devil's advocate. See, if you take myself, so I switched my jobs almost 7 to 8 times, right? So I moved various locations, jobs, industries more than 7, 8 times. So it means it happened to me that at particular time I wanted to change the job. I wanted to change my career, or I wanted to change the company. I'm sure most of you will feel, may not be today or tomorrow, because there are so many reasons. It could be a personal, it could be growth related, or it could be your boss, right? So most of the times the people change jobs because they don't like their boss, not that they don't like the company. So this is very controversial, but the reason behind to ask this question is you need to question every time, right? You need to question as a young talent whether are you on the right path, right? You need to question, because you might have got your first job or second job, but still you need to question. Unless until you don't question, and you're not sure whether you're on the right career, right? So that is the message I would like to give. And so let me move then. Why to choose a career? Why? Now I would like to stress on this. Before we go on how, first we should ask why. Why you should choose a career. Okay. Now again I would like to go to Farhat and ask why. Why everyone thinks or should think about early career options. Why?
It's important to start planning your career early because uh, when the average age of a person who's around graduate, when they're trying to graduate, they are, bombarded with too many influences. So most often they don't end up taking the right decision because of peer pressure or what the majority of the friends are planning to do, or just because maybe one fancy employer came to your office and started offering jobs to many students. That might influence you to go in that direction, but that may not necessarily be something that would rise right for you on the long term, or maybe it is not right based on the different aspects that we just looked at, your personality, your available skill sets, the skill sets that you would want to acquire. So you do not know at that stage whether you are in the right place. So when you start early, you get to choose, you get to make mistakes, you get to correct those mistakes before it's too late in your career and you're stuck in that industry or that particular job.
And so my 2 cents on this is career is a process all about you, right? It's all about you. It's not about the company or not about your family. It's you. So you have a right to choose yourself. Who are you, right? Who are you and what kind of individual you are? And every individual is unique. So there is no replacement, right? So when compared to say Barack Obama is different, Abdul Ali is different. There are two unique individuals, right? Farhat is different, right? And Modi is different. Jagan is different. KCR is different. So every individual is unique. So it is the combination of personality, skills, and interest make you what you are. So definitely you have to have a clear idea about yourself so that you can choose the right career for you. So how do you choose? So coming back to that, the self knowledge, it means you should know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? No one knows more than you. Even your spouse or your mother, no one knows. So it is you who has to has this self knowledge and find out which is the best for you. So there is a small acronym here. Every artist was first an amateur. So artists are not born, artists are made. Just to go back to the same question, that personality. So we are talking about you means what kind of person you are. Now let me ask, what is your personality, right? So let me go to Aisha and ask, what do you think? What kind of personality you are?
Again, gradually changes with time, but then something that you hold on to remains with you. My personality, I would say, when it comes to my work, is slightly different when it comes to with my family, right? So generally, I'm known as a very social person. I am known for interacting well, for having a very clear communication, for having a very um, pleasing personality, as in and leaving an impact basically. So
Okay. So why is personality so important? What do you think?
because I think personality communicates the most. I mean, if you don't really have to have a conversation with someone and have a discussion with someone. I mean, just your personality, your presence around an individual or in a room explains a lot about yourself. It gives your mindset. It explains your thought process and your abilities.
So do you think, Farhat, it helps at your workplace if you know your personality?
Absolutely, I strongly believe that your personality really plays a role in how you do your day-to-day job and how you see your career progress forward. Because I second what Aisha has said. Your personality defines your decision-making ability. It defines the choices that you make. Your personality is your moral compass, right? You know, on a day-to-day basis, you have to choose between right and wrong, yes and no, on a daily basis, in terms of career, in terms of people, in terms of business decisions, personal decisions. So your personality really gives you that shape to take those decisions. And this is why the appetite to take risk is different between people. The appetite to take on, or the how much you strive for success in your career and personal life is different for individuals. So this is completely based on their personality.
And I would like to add to that actually. So for me, according to me, personality is of two things, mostly values. So your intrinsic values and your extrinsic values. So personality is made up of a lot of things. So your intrinsic values is your moral values, what you believe in, your what's close to your heart, basically. And then your extrinsic is the way you put out yourself, your emotions, your body language, the way you dress. This is all consisting of your personality. And this is really important in a workplace. One, because you'll be working in teams in workplace and different personalities together. You need to know your own personality so you can put yourself in a proper team and have the most effective solution to any problem, or even to have best teamwork, best collaborations between teams. So this is the reason why personality is really important at workplace, because then you'll be able to understand other people. You will be able to understand the fact that not only you have a personality, someone else does, and this will diversify the culture. I don't know if you can hear me, but this is what I feel like personality is. So
Well, and so coming back to again a few cents from my side, so the reason why we have a Hunar, right? So it's a combination of four facets, and there is a famous personality theory. It's a very old theory by Myers, and this is being taught in many colleges, and many psychologists follow. And let's see what kind of personalities we are. The reason we are trying to do this exercise is to understand what is the best career for you, where you can do really a good job. Okay, so let's take a poll here, and so there are four types of personalities. So one, we can say extroversion or introversion. So this is very important because this is where you get energy, right? So I'm an extrovert. So I get my energy if I go and talk to the people. I open up. So if I sit in the house, sit at home, or sit in my cubicle, I will never get any energy. I will get depressed. And coming back to introversion. Introversion is one of the very, very popular. It's not bad. It's very, very good. So the leaders, most of the leaders, they are introverts. For example, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. So these people are introverts. It means they get energy when they sit in their washroom. So, so there are two aspects of this energy. One gets energy when you go and talk to them, but there are some people who gets energy if they sit in their cubicle. You might have seen your bosses, sometimes they don't come out. Don't you think they are doing nothing? No, they're doing something else. And coming back to the second, it's called the sensing and intuition. This kind of personality, how you take information about the world around you, how you take it. Sensing means I am basically, I am not a sensing person. I take my intuition. But there are some people who goes by sensing. It means if there is some pot, they try to look at what is the color, what is the size, something like this. And Intuition. So I try to imagine, oh, this is a plastic glass, a plastic bottle. Oh, this is bad for the environment, right? So I start thinking about the effects of that bottle. So it's intuition. But some people, they try to feel and they try to get that knowledge by sensing. Third, thinking and feeling. How you like to make decisions. This is very important. Some people think, some people feel. That's what they say, right? There are some people think it means they're clever, right? They don't get emotional and they take a decision by their mind. But there are some people who take feelings. For example, myself, I take my decisions based on my feelings most of the times, not by thinking. So it's a different kind of decision making process. The fourth personality is judging and perceiving. So how do you organize your life? So for example, uh, judging means you see someone is not wearing a proper clothes, you immediately judge this guy is not having a right, he's not disciplined. And you go on the, for example, start if you go to a restaurant and someone, the the server comes and he greets you, or he gives in something different and you start judging. So it's kind of judging. But some people, they don't look at this the externals, but they try to perceive. I mean, they try to ask some question. They try to interrogate and try to understand. So this is again the fourth facet of personality. Now let us go to the poll, and the poll is open here. Now please go to the poll. Already I saw a lot of enthusiasm here, but only 44% voted. So don't worry, you can vote on anonymous. This is very important for you to understand what kind of personality you are. There is no right, wrong personality. You need everyone, every personality in the organization. We need introverts, we need extroverts. We need people to sense, we need people to judge, right? If you come to an interview, I cannot sense you, I can only judge you, okay? So there are ways where you can use one personality tactics. So not everyone can interview people. Similarly, not everyone can say hi at customer service. You go to a salesperson, not everyone can become a salesperson, right? If you go to a police, right? So his personality is different. So for example, I went to Air Force interview when I graduated engineering. I've been rejected because I'm not fit for a position in army, right? Because I think emotional. So I don't think, right? So maybe my personality is not suitable. So this is what required. So I would like you to now vote for this, and I'm going to the panel now to ask what kind of personalities they are, and is it really matter at their workplace? Okay, so I'm going to now starting from Nazma. So what's your personality here? So we have EI, SI, PF, JP. So if someone has to, if you have to say yourself, what's your personality here?
Okay, so I think in the first one, between E and I think I'm definitely an E, according to most of the people that I know and I know myself. And my job definitely requires me to be an E as well. So we interact with a lot of people in the business, we interact with a lot of customers. So this really requires your personality to be an extrovert so that you can do this easily rather than an introvert who has to put in that extra push from his side. In terms of sensing and intuition, I think I do a little bit of both. again, there's no right or wrong in personality, and there's no clear line. I think it's always a blurred line when it comes to such things. So for me, it's both. Depending on the circumstance and the situation. I'm definitely more towards either sensing or intuition. So I can't really say one or the other there, because I'm a mix of both. And when it comes to thinking and feeling, I think I'm more of the feeling, like you said. I definitely have a little bit more emotions attached to most of my decisions, definitely. And my job sometimes requires it, sometimes doesn't. But thankfully, my job, that area of feelings or thinking, mostly it doesn't really require me to use that quadrant in my job right now. Currently, maybe in the future job, but currently it doesn't. And in terms of judging and perceiving, again, there's again a blurred line here. So depends on what kind of judgment you need to do in terms of your products. Is it selling? Is it, why is this product doing better than the other? How can we make this, more on the forefront? And how? So for these kind of situations, you need to be the judge, because the business will rely on your decision at the end of the day, and they will ask your uh, opinion for guidance. So definitely the judging part, sometimes I'm judging and sometimes I'm perceiving. I'm on the other end, sitting down, perceiving what exactly, do I need to do? How better way can I perceive this in order for me to get the better output? So definitely, I think there are certain situations where, there's a fine line between both. So yeah, that's my personality.
Oh, wow, great. So now my question to you, Nazma, because of your personality at your workplace. So did you face any troubles?
Yeah, initially, I think definitely, workplace is there to challenge you. You're not born for something, right? So you will learn a lot of things along the way. This is where the challenge of towards your personality happens. You need to open your personality. You need to grow. This is what it is, right? When you're put in a certain environment, certain workplace, you need to accommodate accordingly. You cannot just be, one personality and not evolve. This is where you need to have a growth mindset, according to me. So when your mind is, has that growth mindset, you will definitely evolve. You will change. Your personality will change. You will grow as a person, and it can be in all of these fields. So everything changes as time goes. So definitely, I was challenged initially with the feeling. I was a little bit more emotional, I think. So every time my boss gave me feedback with something that I was doing, some criticism, I used to get emotional. I used to almost negate that. So but after some time, I think I really understood that I need to take the criticism in a productive way. If I don't take it in a productive way, I will never grow. So my personality changed accordingly. So this is how my challenged, and I overcame the challenge.
I hope I'm not stepping on your comfort zone, all of you panelists. So, so now I'm before I go to other panels. So I would like to show you a small video and say what exactly is this I am talking about. And let me share my screen. Are you able to? Uh, Pranita, are
Yes,
you able
sir.
to? Are you able to listen the voice or no?
No, sir. We are able to
Okay,
see,
one
but
minute.
not audible, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. So let me stop share. I'll go to share screen. I'll say share computer. Okay, now I'll go and share. Okay, now. Okay.
Now it's audible,
The
sir.
Myers-Briggs theory of personality based
Yeah,
on the
thank
Myers-Briggs
you.
theory, and you'll learn how to put these facets together to find your own unique 4-letter personality type. The Myers-Briggs theory of personality is a way to describe differences in the way people think, make decisions, and approach the world around us. It can help you to understand why you communicate better with some people than with others, why some jobs seem more appealing to you, and why you approach relationships the way you do. Understanding your unique type opens up a wealth of knowledge about who you are and why you do the things you do. Myers-Briggs type is based on 4 facets of personality. For each facet, you must decide which style you prefer out of 2 options. Are you extroverted or introverted? Sensing or intuitive? Thinking or feeling? Judging or perceiving? We'll talk about each facet in depth so that you can better understand where your preferences lie. The first facet, extroversion-introversion, describes how you get your energy and where you prefer to focus your attention. Extroverts prefer to focus outward on the world around them. They are energized by activities like meeting new people, talking about their ideas, speaking in front of groups, and being in active environments. Introverts prefer to focus inward on their own thoughts and impressions. They are energized by activities like thinking quietly, reading, listening to music, or talking with small groups of people they know and trust. Take a moment to think about which sort of activities you find more energizing. If you have a pen and paper handy, write down your preference for E or I. The second facet, sensing intuition, describes how you take in information about the world around you. Sensors focus on facts and details and take in information using their 5 senses. Intuitives focus on meaning, interpretation, and possibilities, and take in information using their intuition. So how do you tell if you're a sensor or an intuitive? Let's try an exercise. Take a look at this cup. Think for a few moments about how you might describe it. If you have a pen and paper, write down a few words to describe the cup. Now, let's take a look at the way sensors and intuitives might respond. Sensors tend to give facts about the cup. They might say, the cup is 3 inches high, it's white, and it's made of styrofoam. It's shaped like a cone and has a lip around the top edge. Intuitives are a different story. They might compare the cup to other things or make up a little story about the cup. An intuitive might mention that styrofoam is bad for the environment, that these cups are very flimsy when filled with hot liquid, or that the cup reminds them of the Sunday school meetings they go to every week. Take a moment to think about how you take in information. Mark down your preference for S or N. The third facet, thinking-feeling, describes how you like to make decisions. Thinkers like to base their decisions on objective data and logical analysis. A thinker might ask, what are the pros and cons? What are the logical consequences? What is the most reasonable course of action? Feelers like to base their decisions on their values and sense of what is right. They also like to consider relationships and the impact of choices on other people. A feeler might ask, what is the right thing to do? How will other people feel about this decision? How can I create a sense of harmony and cooperation? Remember, Myers-Briggs is about the style that you prefer. Most people use some thinking and some feeling when they make their decisions, but usually feel more comfortable using one style over the other. Think about the type of information you trust most in making a decision. Is it objective and logical, or values-based and personal? Take a moment and mark down your preference for T or for F. The fourth and final facet of personality is judging perceiving. This facet describes how you prefer to organize your life. Judgers are people who like to make decisions and seek out structure and organization. They tend to like schedules and to-do lists and want to know what the rules of the game are before they start. They usually dislike surprises and last-minute changes and want to know what to expect. They get satisfaction out of finishing tasks. Perceivers are people who like to leave things open-ended and want to be free to be spontaneous and go with the flow. They tend to like flexibility and situations where there are not too many rules. They are excited by surprises and often enjoy responding to urgent situations. Perceivers are open to things happening in the moment and get satisfaction out of having many options available.
So, so how do you like? So, do you think the theory is partially right or partially wrong, or you think does it help? Yes, Farhat, what's your opinion on this theory?
So I can relate to the points that theories have mentioned, and I subconsciously knew each of those things, but I have a clear word for each one of them. So I'm able to, while watching through the video, I was able to put myself in each of those, these choices, and the kind of decisions that you make, they really define the kind of uh, career that you could probably choose.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, coming back to Aisha, what do you think? Do you reflect yourself?
I actually do. I mean, before we watched the video, I thought I was a mix of two options, like how Rasma mentioned. Um, but somewhere I think it's good to have like a perspective in this manner. Also, when it comes to sensing or feeling, I initially thought I was someone who could be more inclined towards feeling. But the way it explains and the way it speaks about the characteristics of each of them, like I believe personally that I'm an introvert most of the time, and sometimes I'm an extrovert. And again, like Nazma said, your work requires you to switch between personalities, and you have to be open to it. So yeah, it gives a good perspective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just want to add one more point
Please.
to that. Rightly when Aisha was saying, I just realized that if I look back, growing up, I always thought I was a person, and my family would also tell me I was a very emotional person. So the basis of my decision was always very, emotional. And so in this case, I would in the past be more towards feeling. But with the nature of my job, I have to take so many decisions on a day-to-day basis, and I have to leave my emotions out of that, right? So because of that, with the nature of my job and the kind of work I do, I have become a person who takes decisions entirely based on thinking. There are a few bits of feeling still left, which is still left in my personal side of life. But professionally, I have completely shifted from to being a person who's completely doing just thinking based decisions.
Okay, thank you. I think looks like I think we are moving well with the time. So far we discussed about the personality. The personality is important because it shows how or how to choose your early career options. So the second point here I would like to bring is skills. So skills is also one of the area where you have to look into it to choose early career options. Now coming back to the myth again. So why is it that with the passage of time and all the changes in the work world, some skills remain unchanged or little changed? So, so what do you think as a panelist? So what's your opinion on this, Aisha?
Well, I think skills are something that do not change.
Yeah. It's slow. I think it's lagging.
Yeah, yeah, it's lagging.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Go ahead. Yeah.
what I was saying was some skills do not change with time. Like skills, like your personality again.
Yeah.
The way you communicate and the way you sort of are perceived by people and how you put yourself out, like soft skills for that matter. These are skills that will are required, especially in terms of the corporate world or the workplace. Forever. I don't think that's going to change with time. So it is, I think, a question. It's a mixed question. I think there's certain skills that might change, that market, requires, and that we have to hone and work on, and with time develop those skills. But then again, there are certain skills that are definitely needed and will be needed long
So
run.
now coming back to the same, question. So what kind of skills you need to perform your job, the current job as a in FedEx? So what do you think? What kind of skills?
Requires me to have communication firstly. It requires a lot of coordination between different departments. It requires a lot of planning in terms of the kind of volumes that we have, the restrictions based on the countries and the lanes, and
Mhm,
based on these decisions that it's basically also to do with decision making, I would say,
mhm.
deciding, and at the same time it's about interaction with customers. So that's why I mentioned about soft skills, having to communicate with people effectively and then take the decision.
Excellent, excellent. So did you find any time that you need to acquire new skill or improve your the current skill? So did you find any opportunity or any requirement?
Yes, actually, we went through an acquisition about a year ago where FedEx acquired another company. So the organization went through a lot of changes, in terms of location of the office, working methods, reporting to different managers all of a sudden, and business pattern, switch of job role, um, working methods changed completely. And the general perception is when you are an organization that's acquiring another one, it's your way of working that is basically going to be implemented. But and I was not very sure about it until I was in that situation, I must say. So it required me to be open to the idea. It required me to be open to change,
Mhm.
to adapt, to voice out my concerns in a way that I could communicate myself effectively, and have the management understand the consequences, and take certain decisions. So definitely something that required me to be changed.
Excellent, excellent. So moving back to again Nazma. So what do you think? What are the skills? What are the skills
Um,
employers looking?
So I think employers in general will look at whether you have, the soft skills and the hard skills to, position yourself in this organization. So when they judge you based on your hard skills, what you put on your resume, right? So that's all they can see. They can't really see your personality, your interpersonal skills, which you can only judge or see someone performing that while they're in the job itself. So definitely yes. So according to this myth, definitely the myth does work in terms of your interpersonal skills. So the way you interact with people, your communication, your feelings, your emotions, everything that you put forward as a person, as your personality, I think that should not change in the workplace. And in terms of your hard skills, yes, definitely, if you want to grow, like I said earlier, your growth mindset, if you want to grow within the organization, jump up the ladder, you would definitely need to acquire the hard skills and improve on the hard skills. Hard skills can be knowing an application, knowing how to maneuver around, like Aisha said, a certain business condition, a certain business improvement. So these are the skills that you need to develop in terms of your hard skills. Whereas your soft skills, your communication, your the way you put yourself, your personality, all of these things are something that remain unchanged according.
Thank you. So now I think I would like to invite my students. I know they are very. Thank you for your patience, for your listening to the panel as well as myself. Now this is an opportunity for you now. Raise your hand and my co-host will bring to the panel, and let's challenge the panelists with your questions. And we'll break 2-3 times in the session so that we don't get bored, right? So co-host, can you please bring 2-3 panelists before we move on to the next segment? Pranita, you have any question? Nitish, meantime.
No, sir.
No, I want you to ask Pranita. So we are here to challenge the panelists. Come on. I told you many things about my students. Yes, Yashwant. Pranita, start thinking about a question.
Yes, sir.
Very difficult question.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. Tell me.
Sir, a candidate with minimum hard skills and with moderate soft skills may be chance to get a job, sir.
Okay, I will go to now our panelist, Farhat. Yes, Farhat.
If I understood the question correctly, you are saying is you're asking if you have hard skills and partial soft skills, would that be enough to get a job?
Yes.
You know, the way I look at it, you would get a job, but to stay in that job and grow in your career, you definitely need to sharpen your soft skills, right? And the soft skills play a very important role in the kind of job that you do. It also depends on the nature of your job, right? So if I can give an example of the software industry, I believe most of the students over here are engineers, and so looking at the industry that our state comes from and what most people are doing in India. So I deal with a lot of developers, engineers on the data side, the analytics side, and the software on which the business runs. So there are two different types of such engineers, right? There are one who are working on the back end. They are developing, doing the coding, creating the doing the maintenance of the software, maintaining the hardware. And on the other side, we have these engineers who are facing us, who are speaking to us. They are understanding our business requirements. They are exploring the opportunities and the potential of using their solution for our business. So if, let's say, this particular person did not have that soft skills, he would not be able to do his job. He's still an engineer, he would not be able to do his job. But if a person who wants to grow from the back end side to a client facing role, which is usually much more responsible, the person who's facing a client is always much more responsible in an organization. So he would definitely have to enhance his soft skills. So getting a job in entry level, you probably would get, but you should always remember that the market is very competitive, right? There are, as an employer, I will see your candidature, I will see another person, and the person who will have slightly more soft skills than you can probably win you over that opportunity. So when you have the chance to improve your soft skills, don't let it go. Don't be happy with your current situation. This is something that I always tell people who I speak with, as a as a person of our generation, and people who are stepping into the corporate world or starting their career. Always challenge yourself. Never be comfortable with your skill set. And this is a mantra that I follow myself. If there is a day that goes by in which if I don't learn something new, I feel there is a problem. You should always learn. So I feel that you are comfortable with the soft skills that you have, but I would suggest you to look at it from the other way and challenge yourself to improve those soft skills, improve your competitiveness.
Thank you. Vijay, did you
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your mantras.
is it Ashwant or Vijay? Hello.
Yashwant, sir. Yashwant.
Yashwant, are you writing bank exams?
Yes, sir.
See, I found you. That is the reason you asked me. You asked them whether less soft skills and more hard, right? Hard
Yes,
skills.
sir.
So see, I found. But again, right? So what do you want to choose, right? This is what we are talking about. If someone wants to choose a bank job, right? So you need more of your hard skills, less soft skills, because you're not going to talk to them, because you're only going to take care of the cash, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it's fine, but I don't think it is same for all of the students here. So let me go back to the other students. So Chandrasekhar, Vijay, Moin,
sir.
so quickly, can you
Yes,
please
sir.
ask quickly the question?
Chandrasekhar speaking.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is, in both soft skills and hard skills, which one plays a major role in the software industry while doing a job, sir?
So now we'll software industry. So I will go to maybe anyone would like to answer this? Yes, Nazma.
Yeah, I can
Yes.
answer that.
Yes.
I think again, see, in the software industry, I think depending on your job role, it depends on what skills are more dominant. So I think mostly in the software industry, you're either developing, you're not customer facing, you're mostly developing. So when you're developing, definitely you need to know your stuff, right? You need to know your hard skills. You need to know your programs, your softwares, your the knowledge within all of this, your literacy really matters when it comes to such job profiles. So definitely hard skills definitely matter when it comes to software industry. But at the same time, I don't want to restrict it to just that, because your job profile might be different. So even if you're in a software industry, you might be the one selling the software. So if you're selling the software, if you're on the sales end of the software, then you need to have more of soft skills than hard skills. But if you're developing the software, then you need to have more hard skills than soft skills. So again, I'm not saying one or the other. You definitely need to have both, but depending on your job profile, one is more important than the other, and it's usually the most dominant one. So
Okay.
I hope
Thank
that
you. Thank you,
answered
Nazma.
your
I think
question.
before I go on to the second session, a last question, please.
Sir, I would like to ask Pranita.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, before that, I would like to ask, sir, is it how far is it correct to judge a person, his skills and his personality based on written exam, like aptitude test?
Mhm.
How far it is correct?
Yeah, very good question. I think, did you Google this question, Pranita?
No, no, sir. In the previous interview also.
It's a very good question. Very good. See, I know that's why, now you proved me right. Thank you, Pranita. Now
Thank you,
I'm going back to Aisha, Shadan to, answer this question. Yes.
sir. It's not audible, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I personally don't believe that it's 100% right to, judge an individual based on an aptitude test. As we're talking about skills here, there's hard skills and soft skills. Again, there's so much more that one can prove by just having a face-to-face, a real-time interaction, by having it's an online test might not necessarily be the right way of judging in person, I would say.
Okay. Well, so
I would like
now I would like other panelists to, challenge that. Yes. Who wants to challenge?
Um, in my heart, I agree that an aptitude test does not define someone's personality. It does not define the how good a person is. But if from an employee's point of view, if you look at I have come across situations such as this where you have to choose a particular candidate, you have to shortlist a set of people for a particular university, for a particular job, and when the number of applicants are very high, it's really difficult to really give it that attention and the time to go through each candidate. So in such cases, usually when you have such a program to give a test, it helps the organization shortens the list. So it is unfortunate that I know in India that a lot of the major decisions and university entrances are completely based on this. A lot of jobs, but if you look at how the employers work, the employers do not completely rely on this. There is a minimum requirement, right? You get good grades, you pass out of your college, but when you apply for a job, it's more about what you're able to bring on the table, right? There is a minimum requirement based on your qualification, but the rest is your soft skills, your knowledge,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes,
it is
sir.
your knowledge that
Yes, sir. On that basis, we can have a group discussions, more group discussions, no, sir. rather than having aptitude test. In that case, we can pick out easily.
Definitely, a lot of the organizations are changing their methods on how they are shortlisting people. A lot of evolved companies, they engage in group discussions to shortlist people. You're very right in saying that, but I'm
Yes,
not
sir,
sure
but
how far this is being applied in companies in India.
No, definitely.
it is applied,
Actually,
sir.
yeah, I think Google actually does that on a regular basis. So
No,
I know a few organizations that do this. So mainly this aptitude test is screening, right? It's a way of screening. So you can screen based on, your team discussions, or you can screen based on your aptitude test. So it's a different way of screening your candidates. That's the main thing why, most organizations do this. So if you're organized for any organization, there's a certain minimum requirement that every candidate needs to have. And this is usually done through a aptitude test. This aptitude test is only there to judge your hard skills, not your soft skills, your hard skills. So your soft skills happen during interview session. Interview sessions, the coordinator, or the organization looks at your soft skills, looks at how you're answering the questions, might even put in some of the questions to say, if you're put in certain requirements. I'm sure all of us have gone through these interviews where the interviewer will ask you certain questions where you're required to answer based on your soft skills. So if you are put in a certain situation where your coworker or someone is in a conflict, how will you resolve conflict? So he will put up these questions where you need to answer, and this is where your soft skills is notified to the organization. So there are different ways of screening. So this aptitude test is definitely one way of screening. Another way of screening is your interview and also group discussions. So when you have major, lots of people applying for one job, this is the first set of screening that organizations usually do. So this is where you see the aptitude test coming into picture.
yes, ma'am. But uh, uh, as you told, Google is conducting group discussions rather than this aptitude test. But group discussions are after completing aptitude test, ma'am, not before aptitude test. After
Exactly.
qualifying. Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. So
I
again, like I said, every job has its own minimum requirements in terms of hard skills. So this
yes,
aptitude test does that screening, and then they look into your soft skills.
yes, ma'am. Then I would even like to ask, what is the need of these quants and all in software skills to get into software field, ma'am?
Sorry, can you ask that
What are the
question again?
needs? What are the needs of quants aptitudes to get into software field?
Okay. Yeah. Again, like I said, it's based on the job profile. So if you're, working in Google, you're not necessarily developing all the time. There are many other things that you have to do within Google for you to have that customer facing interactions. So there is always a need in every organization. There is always a need for both soft skills and hard skills. So this is where they do the screening process mainly so that they can profile you to the job. So every job is different, every organization is different, and how they handle things is also very different. So based on that, you can choose which organization you want to do and which organization suits you better. So you
Yes,
choose
ma'am.
the organization doesn't choose you. This is
Yes,
my
ma'am.
view.
But all the organizations have same recruitment process, ma'am.
Yes, unfortunately
Yeah.
most of them do. And that's I think that's why Google is bringing in the disruptive innovation. That's what we call it, disruptive innovation, to have this different methods of screening. I think, and eventually I think other organizations will also start doing this. Let's
So
hope so.
let me give my uh, uh, 2 cents on this. Unfortunately, all this exists only in India. So we invented it, actually. So I worked in many companies in North America, Europe. There are no these tests, you know. So the reason why, because we have 1.5 billion people, right? So how do you screen the people? How do you shortlist? So these
Yes,
companies
when-
they try different tests, and they screen, they shortlist, and they, after trial and error, they think, okay, this is working for their organization, right? So every company has customized their entry requirements and entry test, and there is no theory behind that, it is the best, but unfortunately it is the best for them, right? So in the process they lose good candidates, no doubt, but this is only way to shortlist. Unfortunately, we are Indians invented this entrance test, this test, that test, right? I never wrote any test, right, in North America to get any job. Even they don't look at your certificates, they only look at your personality, your skills, and you are on job for 3 months. If you do your job, you are hired. If you don't do, you are fired. Very simple. Okay, so let me again stop this discussion, and I am going to share a video here. Understand what exactly. Are you able to listen? I think I have some issue with the sound. Yeah. So are you able to listen? Hello? Are
Yes,
you
sir.
able to? No, right? Okay, so let me stop that video. It has some issues. So there are top 10 skills what employers are looking, right? There are top 10 skills. And so the objective of Hunar is to inform you, guide you. Yeah, yeah, there is a lag here. Now the video started actually, right? Can you see? Now I think, anyway, I will stop that video. I will stop this. Okay. Okay, now coming back to my presentation. Okay, skills. So there are a lot of skills, hard and soft skills. And how do you assess? How do you assess these skills and interest? And I have again a small video to showcase. And sorry, I think there's some lag here. Okay, clear. Now let me stop share and share. Go to my presentation, and okay. Okay, so video, there is an issue, so I'm not going to run the video. This is a lag, and I'm moving to again panelists. How do you assess these skills? So what are the tools and techniques you used in your organization? Let's hear from the panelist, right? So what kind of skills the employer is looking, and how do you assess?
Like the previous discussion, the Pranita had asked about these aptitudes tests. So currently, organizations are using different ways to assess, the skill sets that they have. In India, uh, because of the skill sets not being uniform across all graduates, companies are forced to invest heavily on training them, extensive training upon hiring. This is unheard of in other parts of the world. There is a requirement. There is screening done based on the assessment of each individual's skill set and personality, and based on that they are hired. But how do you reach there? The skill sets that you require are very performance driven in companies. You have to have the ability to deliver your job requirements, and at the same time you need to have the skills to communicate effectively to the people in your organization, right? So to get there, you have to clear your interviews, you have to do your day-to-day tasks. So the day-to-day tasks fall under your hard skills. I think there's something with the camera spot.
Some lag.
Can they hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear, Pranita?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So the day-to-day tasks that people do on their job, those are completely based on your hard skills. But surviving in your role, working efficiently with the team requires soft skills, right? What is the status of your work? How do you communicate this to your managers? How much more time do you need to do your job, to complete your task? All of these things fall under the soft skills. So there are different ways in which people learn what are their skill sets. Few examples that I can give from what I did to understand what my personality is and what are the skill sets that I have and what are the skill sets that I need to develop. I joined student organizations. I took part in internship programs, right? You speak to experienced people, you speak to people who you look up to, who are already doing good professionally in their lives. So you understand what are the kind of skill sets they have. Then you try to understand if you see yourself in that position, if you have those skill sets. To demonstrate that or to learn that, you join student organizations, you can join NGO programs, you can join different sorts of recreational activities where you will get a chance to develop this. For example, if someone wants to join develop their conversational skills, interpersonal skills, you can join a reading club. For example, you can join what do you call this the different organizations where you get a platform to have your public speaking skills improved. If you want to get some soft skills on learning coding or learning a different programming or language, analytical skills, you do short term courses. You can do them online or you can do them offline, right? So when you do different things, and when you have a clear vision on what you want to reach at the end of the day, you will be able to first identify what are the skill sets that you have and which you don't have, and then accordingly you can work on acquiring those skill sets through these different means.
Now I'm moving into the very important section here. So we started from what kind of personality you should have or you have, and the second, what kind of skills you need to choose your early career option, and the third now, what kind of interest you have. So put together your personality, skills, and interest. So there is a very famous theory about your category type. So what kind of category you belong? Because the employers looking various categories of employees to do the job. So for example, I worked as designer, I worked as a manufacturing engineer, and there are two different perspectives or different category of occupation. A designer means you sit in a cubicle, you start working, start designing, and it's always thinking, always thinking. And whereas the manufacturing engineer, you are on the shop and you start interacting. You have to look after your workers rather than yourself, and you need a different occupational requirements, occupational interest. It means you don't mind going and making your hands dirty if you are on a shop floor. But whereas in design, you have to be well dressed, you need to have a tie, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is what we are talking now. What kind of a category you are and how this influence your early career option. Okay, now I have here very famous theory, and the humans are divided, are categorized based on how they react to the situations. Okay, the first is the investigative, second artistic, then third social, fourth enterprising, confidential, and realistic. And I have a poll here from the students, and if I see there are very few enterprising, there are 30% we have confidential, and about 30% realistic, and 20% investigative, and 8% artistic, and 9% social. So it's very interesting phenomena here, right? So out of 80 students, you see how you're fitting into this hexagon. So this is very popular hexagon. So what do you mean by, say for example, if you're a realistic person, it means you like doing things. So you are a doer. So if you want to work in a shop floor, actually you have to have this kind of doer category. If you have to be investigative, means you have to be a thinker. So if you want to work in design or research R&D, you should have this kind of category. And there are creators, they are artistic. So if you want to be an industrial designer or a graphic designer, so you have to have creative personality. Organizers, conventional. So in fact, I found myself as a good organizer when I started arranging my conferences. Before that, I never explored. Even I don't know that I have a good organizer in myself. And enterprising, it means the people who want to, for example, go for entrepreneurship. They want to lead a team, or they want to become manager. They want to become a CEO. So these are the enterprising, where they pursue the opportunity. Okay, sorry, Chandrasekhar, or you want to become a bank manager. So unfortunately, so you fit. I think conventional. I think you're basically falls under a category of organizer, right? You organize the cash, you organize bills. Okay, I think if you're this kind of personality, I think it suits you and you will be successful. So the reason why we are discussing, because you have to know yourself what kind of category you are, and if you choose that kind of occupation, you will be more successful. And this theory tells actually there are three types of categories. It means you falls under primary. If you take about myself, I am artistic. So my primary is creativity. The secondary, I am realistic. I want to do things on my own, right? And the third, I am the organizer. So my primary is artistic, my secondary is realistic, and my third is conventional organizer. So I can switch my roles whatever it is required, and I can do things. For example, if you say you want to be the, say for example, enterprising, right? So that's why I did not put up any company so far in my 30 years. Maybe small companies, but I am not. That is not my primary category. But if you ask Bill Gates, if you got Warren Buffett, if you see Sundar Pichai, right, Nadella, right, all these people, maybe their primary is enterprising. Okay, and coming back to the panel here, now I would like to ask the panel, so where exactly they think they fit here, and are they really doing the same thing in your career right now? Yes, coming back to Farhat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can relate to this. I am a very realistic person and I'm enterprising as well because you start your work by being realistic. You have to be hands on, you have to know what the task is required. So I have, on a daily basis, I have to wear many hats because looking at the whole country's business requires to look at many different aspects. And there are 200 people on the job who are doing different things. So persuading them to do more in their role, meeting my stakeholders, my managers, the senior management, and um, you have to negotiate with them internally, and you have to negotiate with your key customers externally. So I see myself, being a person who's very persuasive in what I feel and putting my point forward and negotiating accordingly for the business. And at the same time, I see my other as category to be realistic because I'm very focused on the task on hand and making sure all of those things are done in the best way possible. These are my two main categories on this.
Okay, so it means you are proving me right. Thank you. So I will go to now Aisha. Aisha, what do you think? Where do you fit here? Or is it even you don't agree on this? That's fine.
I think it's again a mix in this scenario. I
Yeah.
can't completely agree to one option. Like here, I see most of my characteristics or my personality is to do with the entrepreneurial part of it. But then, am I really doing my current job based on that? Not really. I have to. My job is more like on a realistic basis. Sometimes it is on, a little bit of investigative also. I have to really look at some certain problems, raise concerns. So it is a mix, and I think we have to kind of take the right decisions at the right time, understand where we really are, and what we can work on and what needs to be done next.
So it means basically one has to explore, right? That's what I think I'm stressing on this, right? Everyone, including myself, so we have to experiment, right? And thank you for your very frank opinion. Yes, Nazma. So, do you fit into this hexagon, or you're out of the hexagon?
No, actually, for me, it's again, like Aisha said, I think it's a mix where, yeah, I don't want to get confused here based on your traits in terms of your personal life, your work. So your personal life, your traits might be different, your category might be different. For me, in my personal life, I'm more of a social person. Whereas my, first professional lives, I have to be realistic. I have to be conventional. I have to be organized in my work. I have to I have to be an investigative category because I need to investigate on where the business is going wrong, where we can improve the business. This is, I think we need to really draw a fine line between your personal characteristics, your personal life, and then your professional life. So definitely, like Aisha said, in your professional life, you will have a mix, based on what your job category is and how your job requires you to categorize yourself for that specific profession. Definitely, there will be a mix and you need to improve. And job is always you need to improve. You cannot stay within one category. And every job will require you to do a different category. Like you said, like the coordinator said, for being first for a person who is setting up all of this organization and Hunar, you need to be creative, and you need to be ambitious. You need to be an enterprise. I think so. Somewhere, whereas you're like this here, but in your office work as a professor, you're different. You're not an enterprise. You're not, so artistic or creative. So definitely, I think different professions require different categories. And again, professional and personal are completely different. You definitely need to have a fine line between both, and you need to balance your categories based on
Well said. Thank you. Students, now I would like to now take few questions here before we go on to talking. Do do we really have this luxury in India to choose whatever we want or whatever we like? Do we have the whether our parents will allow us to do it? Right. So this is the debate. I'm going to take it to the next. session. Before that, I would like to have some few questions. Yes. Yeah, there are some co-hosts bring the
Good evening, sir.
new questions. Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening. Tell your
I'm
name,
Vijay.
college.
I'm Vijay, sir, from VNR VJIT Hyderabad.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, actually, the question is like that. We have discussed about the personality and the skills and the categories that you said.
Yeah.
So, if I have to ask upon how to choose which one is correct for me or which one is a most efficient one, which one is the most potential one. So, how could I go upon choosing a right one?
Yeah.
So that choosing a skill or the decision making skill maybe, so how to develop that between all these skills and personality and more of these categories, so how upon to choose a one thing that suits me best.
Very good question, Vijay. See, so far I did not open the Pandora box. Okay. So there is a Pandora box kept for you. And so this is what I'm going to show you. Yes, I was expecting this question from. Thank you, Vijay. So
Thank you, sir.
there are many tools available. For example, you think you are introvert, but unfortunately, you you will end up in extrovert. So you need to understand these terms and fine lines. And English is not our primary language, right? We get confused. So that's why there are many tools available. So I will share this with you. It's called the 16 personalities, and you go and take this test. It's a free test, and it will tell you exactly what is your personality and what is the occupation most likely suitable. Not one occupation, maybe 3 4 occupations. Also it tells you about what kind of category you are, what is your primary, what is your secondary, what is your third. So this is one of a psychological test, gives you at least a 50%, right? 50% of what you are, what category you are, so that you can choose the right occupation for you. So this is what I would like to open this Pandora box. I will. You can go now. Go to. Okay. So after this, after the session, you can go and do yourself. And in the next webinar, we will discuss exactly what is this Pandora box. Okay. Now, yes. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I want to like add one more thing here.
Yeah.
uh, as you said, it is a more of a 50%. I totally agree with that. But
Yeah.
sir, when we are given a certain options, like four options had been given, and we are asked to choose one, so it's more about a situation we are given and we are thinking over that and choosing one. So it is all about the situation. The skills we spoke about is more about adaptability, or it's more comes out of as a situation, the hard skills. So I would like to ask the panel members here, like.
Okay. Yes. Anyone would like to
Yes,
take this? Farhad? Hmm.
yeah,
Sorry,
you
sir,
know,
there was some
It's okay.
disconnection.
Yeah. We got your point.
yeah.
Yes,
So, were you continuing your question?
it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. This question is, I think, if I
No, sir.
have
There's
some.
there's a one more personal question for you
Yes.
guys. I want to ask you,
Yeah.
like how do you define your success? That's a one more question. If I had to ask you, so let me put it in simple. So, do you define your success by the skills you have or the job you're doing, or it's more about you believe in that phenomena called luck or fate that takes you uh, to your success? How do you feel that? What decides your success or control your success? That's the two question I would like to ask. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
1 minute. I think I want to take this at the end, right? Now,
Sure.
after this, I'm finishing in another 10 minutes. Then we are going to have, the open-ended town hall. So all these questions, I'm sure they are going to answer with you. Okay. So please
hold on to that.
kindly bear. Yeah. The session will be open to everyone. Okay. So let me complete this and come back to you quickly. Okay.
Sure.
Very good question. Yeah. Now I think are you seeing my stop share? Let me go and share again my PPT. So I think I shared. Okay, now my question was, yeah. So do we have the luxury in India to choose to do whatever, right? You are. So there are certain factors, right? There are certain factors like timing, finances, location, and also the family and personal life. Say, for example, I should know how much time I need to invest to become, you know, uh, NASA engineer. Okay, is it possible? The second, finances. If I have to do, I want to become, great inventor. So I want to get a Nobel Prize. Do we have finances to do this? Third, location. Right? If I have to do some occupation, can I take my family there? Can my family fit into it? And how I am going to, right, carry my family and take care of my family? So these are the some of the definitely questions and factors might affect you. So I would like to now go to the panel and say whether whatever I'm assuming these myths are really plays a role. Did they play in your career?
I would say definitely all of these factors have played a role in the decision making of my career and where I am today. And all the participants know that we are all based out of India, and due to certain limitations or challenges which have been identified on this slide, that have led us to be where we are today. Location is, I think, the most important factor for people to decide how much they want to grow, because the world is spread into different economic zones. Even within a country, every state or every part of every state is focusing on one particular industry or a specific economic activity. So how close you are to that, and how close your ambition is to that particular cluster. So you have to have all of these factors considered before you take on the decision to what you want to do. So in India, someone wants to, like the example you give, NASA engineer. You want to become a scientist, or you want to become an advanced aeronautical engineer. You have to have the industry and the companies around to accept you, or you have to have the willingness to move to another location where these companies are established, where such facilities are available. So I'm sure you will have find a college that is offering a course close by to you, but how far are you from the industry? How far away are you from the companies that will give you a job of that career? These factors are really difficult to choose in India, and this is why I feel, unfortunately, most people do not have the luxury to do whatever they want in India.
Well said. So I would like to again go to the panelists to share your experiences. Do they really matter, these four factors? Did they really matter in your career, early career options?
Well, personally, for me, I think these options that you've broken down, I think I didn't have someone to break them down for me, to be very honest. And talking about the luxury of choosing a career in India, I personally believe that I had challenges with that, and that's when I decided that I want to pursue my studies first, and I took a decision. It's really important to decide, your finances, your location, and how you're going to be comfortable with moving away from your family, with your family. So, to and that basically answers the question about why it's important to have a early career option. um, like I want to also add a point here, because I had most of my education was in India. I did my bachelor's also in India. One thing that I've always focused on, and I'm sure most of us would agree with that, in India, the perspective about education is more to do with getting a good score, getting an A, being the topper of the class or the organization. That's amazing. That's fantastic. But at the same time, I think the perspective of what next, what do you really want to do after that, and what you want to do, is that something that's going to be sustainable? Can that last long enough? Or you want to work on your skills and enhance your skills, or probably change your skill sets? These are things that we need to understand, and the timing for it is important. How you plan your finances around it is also really important. So for me, if I had an opportunity, I think I would work things around a different way. Maybe I would step back a little, take my time to decide what I want. And to answer one of the questions that I think one of the members here had asked, as to how to know which of the four options is better. I would say if you start early, you got to choose very well. I mean, even if you do a mistake, you don't regret doing that. Instead of doing a master's program, you probably take a few courses online, or decide if that is your skill set. And by doing that, you still have that time with you, wherein you don't regret that you've missed so many years of your life. So starting early is important. Deciding these factors very well broken down here is also very important. And especially in a country like India with so many people and so much competition, I think we all need to step up.
Well said. Well said. Yes, Nazma, you have anything to add?
Yeah. So my experience might be a little bit different, coming from a different country, a completely different set of opportunities. So definitely, my experience with India has not been so much. But I would like to actually open this question to it's not even about luxury in India. I think it's about your will. I think most of your opportunities you have to create yourself. There will always be restrictions like this. Any country you go, even Canada, even US, anywhere you go, there will be factors that will be limiting your opportunities. So you need to make take that into consideration, and you need to understand how far you will go with this limitation. How far can you push these limitations? For some, it might be leaving your family behind and going for your own sake and in order to help your family. For some, it might be changing just the location. For some, it might be, finding a different financial route. Or if you're, restricted under finances, you would maybe give up and try to do your opportunities where you can. So I really think you need to, assess yourself. Like you said, this myth here based on your timing, your finances, your location. It differs for everyone, it differs for every country. So it's not only just India I would talk about. One, I don't have so much experience with just one country. As you know, I grew up in Canada. So for me, I don't really think this is only specified to India. In fact, India, I think you have more opportunities because it's such a growing nation now, and it's so diverse in terms of all of the opportunities that are present. So definitely there might be some restrictions based on your location, but again, it's up to you. Your career is you. Like initially, I think coming back to the initial, comment that the coordinator has mentioned, your career is you. So at the end of the day, you're the one choosing the career. So it depends on how far you can push yourself, push your limitations, push your factors that you do here, and how well you manage the factors. This is what I think in turn will really help you flourish in your career and in your life ahead. So
Thank you, Nazma. Thank you. Uh, see, if you see the poll here, there are 32% they gave up. I see no here. It means you gave, right? You gave up. Unfortunately, no. Don't give up. Okay? If you give up, even at this stage, now you're not a fighter, right? You end up in call center. The people who said no, you will end up in call center. So please, no, don't say no. Okay. Second, 20% said yes. I don't think maybe their parents have a Swiss bank account, looks like. Okay. And third, right, maybe. Okay, I like this. And few percent, they said they don't know. Again, don't know is an opportunity to explore. Don't stop there. Okay, don't stop there. Explore. So my suggestion is remove no, remove yes, and say you have to do it, right? If you want to do it, you have to do it. Can you do it? Yes, you can do it. But how much you do it, 100% may not be not possible. But given the situation, even you do 50%, great. You need not to become Ambani, right? What you need is a bread and butter for your family, right? And maybe your surroundings, right? That's what you are looking at. So if you can provide, right, bread and butter to your family, that's enough to start with. Now, even 80% of the students in India, we are not there. We are looking for jobs. We are unfit for jobs, right? So remove the negativity, right? So be optimistic. Be optimistic. And that is the reason Hunar is trying to tell you and bringing you various industry workshops to motivate you that not everything possible, right? But nothing is impossible, right? So please make a line, okay? Not everything possible, but at the same time, nothing is impossible. Can you become a NASA scientist? You keep that, at least you will get a job, right? So this is what 2 cents from me. So now coming back to the almost what next, right? Now we started thinking, debating, discussing about the personality, the categories, the skills, and yes, what next? So you got exposed to now various parameters, various factors, right? Now, so coming to the summary, so I would like to summarize our panel discussion before we go on the town hall session Q&A. Understand your personality. Understand. The first thing is understand. Okay, what kind of person you are, whether you're a doer or you're a creative person. Second, explore the qualities of your personality type. Okay, identify. Research job titles that can match your preferred work styles, right? Now, someone can say he wants to become a bank manager. Very good. So you have a good vision to become a bank manager. Fix, nothing wrong. If you are happy with the job, nothing wrong. But try to be, right, a person fit for bank job. Fourth, list specific skills that are necessary for your career, right? No one is going to tell you. You have to list yourself what skills you need. Don't look at again Java, VB, this, that. They can change every time, right? Every 6 months you get some different version. So don't get trapped into Amirpet. Okay, so be away from Amirpet. Okay, create your own university, right? We have a great free university, Google, right? And WhatsApp, of course. Don't follow WhatsApp, but only follow Google Scholar, right? Okay, Google Scholar. Fifth, so list what are the transferable skills. Say for example, most of the soft skills are transferable, but not the hard skills. But hard skills can be trained. The companies can train you on hard skills, but soft skills is very difficult. So list out top 10 soft skills, how to communicate, how to work with the teams, how to do anger management, how to, right, follow as a team member, how to lead, how to manage. So these are the transferable skills. If you list what you are good at and what you are not. So try to improve where you are not good. Sixth, identify skills, again according to the John Holt's occupational theme. And again, I will send you this presentation. You can go on, look at Google Scholar and find what kind of occupation you're looking. Are you looking for bank manager? Are you looking for sales manager? Are you looking for a manufacturing engineer? Are you looking for a specialist? Are you looking for to be an analyst? I want to be a designer. So determine what career path. And this is what we started, right? So the first week we explored what kind of engineer you want to be, whether you want to be manufacturing engineer, design engineer, and where you want to work, what industry, whether you want to build apps, whether you want to build right the mobile phones, or you want to work in automotive. So we did this exercise at the beginning, if you remember, and it is coming in your flow chart. So this is actually again thinking and reviewing, right, reviving your plans of career path, what you have assumed at the beginning. Third, so how to acquire necessary skills, right, both in and out of class for your career goals. Some you can get in your college, mostly you don't get many at your college. You have to do your own homework and try to get your. And if there are some parents who are here, my advice to your parents is don't force your child to be the best at everything. That's what we do mistake. No one could be best at everything. Even you bring Barack Obama, right, ask him to become a driver, he will fail. Okay, but the driver who wants to be a good driver, he will pass. So don't force your child to be the best at everything. Only force, not the force, identify where they are good, what they are good, and try to force them to be better and best in the area where they are good. Okay, and coming back to the final, how to choose early career options. And with this, I am thanking my panelists, Farhat, Shadan, and Nazma. And let me see the final polls here. Many say yes, I will start working on it. And partially yes, I will try to understand more. And 17% said no, I need some more input. Very good. And no one said don't know. I'm really happy. It means you're following the discussion. Okay, you're following the discussion. And with this, I'm going to stop my 2 cents and thank Aisha, Farhat, and Nazma for their valuable time. I'm sure this has been a different experience even for them. Even for me, it's a different experience. And I'm sure this will be entirely eye opener for you. I'm sure nobody would have thought this in your college. I'm sure you are excited about your career, and I think you are on the right platform. If you want to choose your early career options, just follow some of these guidelines, invent yourself, do your own research, find out your own path. Okay, find out your own path. Sometimes GPS says go, but you don't go, you go on a different way because you know GPS is telling wrong. So even I am GPS, sometimes I may tell you based on my satellite position. Okay, so because of the accuracy and errors, but judge yourself. So this is my 2 cents, and thank you so much. And we have 15 minutes Q&A, a town hall. You can ask any questions other than personal related to career, and my panelists are going to answer. Thank you, Farhat, Aisha, and Nazma. And please give a big thumbs up to our panelists. Can you please give a big thumbs up? Pranita, Nitish, and my co-host, can you please speak out to our panelists and say thanks with your voice? Pranita, Nitish.
Yes, sir. For being here and sharing your cornucopia of knowledge with us, and this will definitely enlighten our path to reach our careers with a good milestone, sir.
Thank you, Nitish. Thank you. So now let's welcome our students, and we have 15 minutes. So to close this, as per
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I
yeah,
have a small
questions now.
query, sir. I have a small query, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, like when it comes to dealing with the clients, right from the CEO of a company to the manager, what is the most challenging personality? Either is it an introvert or an extrovert to dealing with the clients?
Okay. Yeah, who wants to take this question?
Yeah,
I think
can.
you have also one question to be answered, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Alright, so I think it's more challenging to, being an extrovert person because it's for, sorry, an introvert person. Because an extrovert person expresses himself, he's able to communicate effectively, he's able to ask, he's able to answer, he's able to get different opinions and give different opinions. Whereas an introvert person is someone who needs a lot of motivation to come out and express himself. So in a job where a person is expected to speak to somebody else, a partner, a client, or other business partner, you are expected to be the most efficient in your communication in terms of your communication skills, your personality, your body language. These are some things that can be very challenging for an introvert person. Like Aisha mentioned, there are some people who are able to very
Sir, sir, it's not audible. Oh, complete.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
can you guys hear us? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you hear us? Okay, we are.
Yes,
We
sir.
are
Yes,
actually
sir.
technical issues here. Okay, let me just try to activate the mic on this camera. Yes. So I'll just continuing my answer to that. An extrovert person is able to sometimes become an extrovert person in terms of in front of other people. But like Aisha mentioned, there are some people who are able to very effectively switch on and switch off their personal lives. I have also come across certain people who are at work very extrovert, but as soon as they finish working, they become introverts. It is possible. It's not impossible. There are some people who are very effectively able to manage this, but there are many people who are not. Like I'm an extrovert person. If you ask me to become an introvert person, I will not be able to. So if you are someone who's able to switch your personality, then it works best for you. But if you feel that you are an introvert who cannot become flexible, if you're not someone who can instantly start opening up a discussion with somebody and effectively communicate what's on your mind, then it will be challenging to be in a position where you will be facing somebody else, a business partner or a client or a customer. Hope I answered that question.
Yes, sir. Sir, and I would like to add one more point to it.
I got disconnected. So can you please, be as a host and encourage the students to be
Do we have any other questions? Was it Yashwant who had a question which we did not answer? Who was that?
Yashwant, yeah.
Can we have your question?
Yes, sir. I'm Vijay, sir. I was the one who asked that
Vijay.
question. Yes, sir.
Yes, Vijay. So you had that question, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you remind me, please? Can you have your question again? I'd like to hear your question again.
Yeah, yes, sir. I was actually saying about the decision-making skills or choosing upon the right one, as Abdul Wali sir said, there is a test, something like that. So even in that test, we have given 4 options or something like that. So we have to choose upon the one. So is it a more? It is more about a situation we are given, and we are asked to choose upon or to act upon that. So how can we still think about that I'm making a right decision or a wrong decision? Is the one question. And the other question I asked is that like how do you define your success? Right? It's more about a skill and a soft skills or a hard skills, or someone says is the most about a phenomena that is a luck or fate. So how do you say that? Are you if I ask you, are you a successful person? So how do you define that? That's all my question.
Okay, so the second question is a very good question. It's a little challenging, but I'll try to answer that. Coming to your first question, a lot of the decisions that we take, including myself, are definitely situational. You would like to become something, you would like to get an opportunity on something, but mentioned if you're given 4 opportunities in front of you, it is in your hand to choose either one of them or not choose any of them at all, right? So there are some people who are extremely focused on what they want to do. If you belong to a certain stream of engineering, let's say chemical engineering, and you are really determined to work in that particular stream, but you happen to have 4 software companies in your campus and offer you a job. They really don't have any opinion on you being a chemical engineer, but they know that they are going to hire an engineer who has certain set of skills that he has probably acquired during engineering. He will have problem solving skills, he will have some technical abilities to understand, and the rest of the hard skills, they are confident that they will be able to train you in 30 days or 40 days, and the rest of it you will learn on the job. There are a lot of people, fortunately or unfortunately, who take these opportunities. I don't say they are wrong, they're completely situational. If you are someone who are not flexible, right? I think this is a very common thing that happens in Hyderabad, because a lot of people who are in Hyderabad or close to Hyderabad in Andhra Pradesh, they are very fortunate that a lot of multinational companies are based close by in Hyderabad or Bangalore. And very often they get approached by these companies who come to their campuses and provide offer letters to young graduates. So if you see yourself who is restricted in this zone, in this geography, you feel that you cannot go outside your state. Your circumstances do not allow you to stay far away. Then you have to reduce your choices, right? You have to become more flexible. You will have to end up taking one of, because you know that there are other restrictions that do not allow you to go out of this state. And among these 4, you have to which one is most likely to fit to your needs. There are certain jobs that probably offer you a lesser pay initially. Learning curve could be much better. There are certain jobs that better pay, but you will stay there for at least the next 4-5 years. And there are certain jobs that are coming from really big companies. Then the company name sounds really amazing on your CV, but the job that they're actually giving you is very basic job where you will not be able to learn more. So you need to find a right balance. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? This is correlated to success. Success is dependent on what your ambitions are. If you feel that you are able to get a job in which you can take care of your family, you can get married, settle down in the same city, that is success for a few people. some people who want to, become really, right? They want to be opinion leaders. There are certain people who have certain skill sets which they have acquired and polished over so many years that they feel it's the time for them to give back to society or to be in a position where they will be able to train more people. So you feel that becomes a measure of success. And success, I believe, always changes with time. Once you have a goal, you try to aim for that goal. Once you hit that goal, you cannot become comfortable. People who are ambitious will set a new goal. They will change that goal. And then you keep progressing to the end. But always at one point, you will feel there will be, a logical limit. You need to define a logical limit to what your ambitions are. It's great to be ambitious. It's great to have a wild chase, but it should your chase shouldn't become like what they say, a wild goose chase. It should be a very measurable, a very practical goal that you feel that you have the capability and the willingness to acquire the remaining skill sets to hit that goal, right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm listening.
So, yeah. So, the way I measured my was I always wanted to ensure I was at the top of the opportunities and things that I have on hand. So, when you are, let's say, in a classroom, there are some people who want to be the topper of the class. That is their measure of success. There are some students who fight for half mark, 1 mark. That is their measure of success. For me personally, I never was chasing grades. I'm sure many students will disagree with me, but I was a person who was never extremely good in academics. But for me, the whole purpose of attending classes was to gain the knowledge. And when I gained the knowledge, I ensured I remembered it, and I found every way possible to apply that knowledge, right? So when you do engineering, you learn about a lot of theory, a lot of different things, but what you remember with yourself and how you apply this knowledge is one way, and the other thing is to acquire more knowledge. So when I started my entry level job, I was extremely ambitious. I was always looking at people who were hired along with me. There are people who you were hired with in your entry level job, and there are people who are at the highest place in their career, right? So I always measured myself. You have to think a lot to decide what your goals are. I wanted to become more successful than people who are with me, and my logical limit was to become the CEO of the company, right? That is your logical limit, right? If you're in a company, you can maximum become the CEO of the company, but you have to think backwards. Do you have the appetite to become the CEO of the company? Can you make sacrifices in your personal life that the CEO is probably making, right? Do you have the willingness and the personality and the soft skills to become the CEO? What are the things that the CEO probably does on a day-to-day basis? What are the skills that he has? So I always thought backwards. If I want to become a manager, right? When I grew in my career, I started my career, in Dubai from being a marketing manager, marketing specialist. It was a very creative role, but later realized that that is not the best thing for me. I am a very practical person, but I'm not very creative. So I moved to marketing analytics. Then from marketing analytics, I moved to business analytics. Then from business analytics, I realized that I have the appetite to process this business knowledge and give practical decisions and practical suggestions to the business. Then from that, I had to spend a lot of time to acquire these business skills. I have the technical ability. I had the hard skills, like we say. I knew how to use data. I knew how to use this data to build reports. I knew how to use these reports to come up with recommendations for the business. But the soft skills is giving these recommendations to the people who can make the decision. And eventually, I was able to think backwards of how would the person who I would give this analysis to use it. I started thinking the way he would think. I started thinking the way his manager would think. And I was able to what do you call, train myself to be what he is, or to be what you would like to be. I always trained myself to be my manager, even before I became a manager. So with this ability, you are able to prove to the organization and the management that you have the skill set available to take on a new role. And I was able to very fast grow in my career because of this. And I feel that I am, successful because of that. And because I am comfortable with where I am today, I will say that I am successful. I don't think I can sacrifice so many things that my CEO can. So I am at my point in life, I don't feel I am that ambitious to become a CEO of my company. But I am satisfied with what I have today. And I need to, because I feel I am very young, and I'm fortunate enough to be in my position at my age. I don't see a lot of people in my industry who are at my age doing what I'm doing. So I still feel successful. Let's say after a few more years, 4 to 5 years, there will be a lot more people who will come up to similar levels, similar caliber, and I will all be probably be doing what I'm doing in the next 2-3 years. I have to leave my comfort zone. If ever I feel that I'm in my comfort zone, I'm not successful. You should never be constantly in a comfort zone. You reach a comfort zone to hit a milestone. But once you reach that comfort zone, you need to plan what is next. If you stay always in your comfort zone, then that probably becomes your success and you will remain there.
Great, great. So let's give a big, big thumbs up to our panelists.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very precisely answered. Thank you very much, sir.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you. So,
Do you have anyone more questions?
yeah, so before that, I'd like to show, say, the Pandora box. I told you the 16, right? In fact, I did myself. So I am more extrovert, intuitive, feeling, judging, assertive. So the suggested role was a diplomat. Okay. And my strategy, basically, I have a people mastery, right? I'm sure, I think the panelists will agree with this. So I have a people mastery. Similarly, I'm a diplomat, right? It means I solve problems, right? This is what my personality. So I definitely, it's more than 50% what I am, right? So if I have to become a police officer, for example, I will never become a police officer, right? I will never become, because I do not have those, right, traits to become a police officer. So take this Pandora box, 16, right, personalities, and see what is your personality, what is your occupation, and exactly where you will fit. Whether you will fit in designing, right? Introverts are mostly designers. Whether you put in manufacturing, extroverts. Whether you want to be in sales or marketing, engineers, right? That's again different. You have to judge. When you become a sales officer, someone comes and in front of you, you are walking in Lamborghini, and someone comes with like my kind of suit. You should judge immediately. This guy is not going to buy. He's going to waste my time, right? So this is right. So this is what you must know. Okay. Now go back to the Q&A, and yes, I think 6:40. We are, I think, run over 10 minutes extra. Any more questions? You can feel free to ask questions to the panelists. I will share the email, and on. In fact, they're part of Hunar family. Like our earlier industrial workshop mentors, they will definitely try to support you in your career, right?
There's one point I wanted to mention to all the students. I was not able to complete that in my previous point. Always be, inquisitive. Always challenge yourself. Challenge yourself in terms of what you're doing, in terms of what your goals are, how practical they are. Speak to people who you feel are already established. If you have a doubt that you probably want to become a particular profession, the points that are there on the slides on how to choose your career are excellent. I wish I had that when I was early in my career. I had to define a method myself. I was not fortunate enough to get a slide like this with the points that you should go through. I did everything based on trial and error, to be honest. And I think this is what most students who studied in India end up with. We do not have a mentor like Syed Abdul Wali, unfortunately. You guys are very privileged. So I always did trial and error. I tried to put, okay, let's say when I was intermediate, I thought, can I become an architect? Then I used to think like an architect. I used to speak to architects and I used to understand how their personal lives and professional lives are. And I used to do some Google research. Can I be this? Am I happy with this? No. Then you speak to different people at different point of time. And once you decide what career you want, you need to understand what abilities that you can show to your employers of that particular profession. So when I wanted to, let's say, become a country manager, I had to already have proven ability to show this. You don't, like in India, they say you need to have experience to get an entry level job. So most students, most people don't understand what experience is this that they're asking. I have, and unfortunately, I was not able to read a lot of answers similar as my opinion. I don't know if this was discussed in previous sessions, but experience, according to me, is proven ability. Experience is not having 6 months or 1 year of experience of doing the exact same job, right? For example, if you have, if you want to become an event organizer, right? You don't have to have 6 months working experience in an event organizing company, right? You need to find opportunities where you can learn these skills. You can join a students organization, like I mentioned. You do an internship, you work with a professional, you find mentors, you learn from them. You can find a guide for you. You can go to different companies of that industry and ask for internships proactively. Don't wait for companies to come to your college and offer you internships. Find the best companies and find the companies closest to you. You always need to look at two things: companies that are closest to you, who are offering such skill sets, and the best companies. You apply on both sides and try to get internships, learn, that adds on to your experience. Anything that you learn, that is your experience. Knowledge is your experience. So when you go to an employer for an entry level job, you can tell them, I have not worked for a company before, but I have things that have taught me these things that you require. And that is what will end you, will help you with your interviews and your, first jobs. And that will continue when you go for a promotion and when you go for your second job. You should already be able to show things that you have learned without doing those jobs, and tell them that I have this knowledge, I have this academic knowledge or this practical knowledge through internships or through NGOs or through some experience from family businesses or employers. And then you tell them, I have this ability, I can prove myself. This is better than going to an employer without having any background knowledge or ability proving that you can demonstrate in the company.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So I would like to add one point here. So that is the reason Hunar wants to have this internship, right? So knowledge, skill, and experience, right? Knowledge. And Farhad said knowledge, you take the knowledge. Not only take the knowledge, take the experience. What is experience? Is the output. And you're doing the projects here, and that is your output. It may be small experience, right? You may fail in this concept development or in project. Doesn't matter. That is experience. You are taking your failure. Nothing wrong. If I am the employer, I will really appreciate that you have tried this. Even though you have failed, no problem. So take your experience, not only the knowledge and the skill, experience of fail or success. Right? That's my 2 cents now. So I would like to now turn to Ayesha and Nazma to give their final, few thoughts on how you should really now start thinking about choosing your career. So final words, and with this, and we will wrap up. Okay. Yes, Ayesha.
I think it was a very interesting session today, and I can't stop myself from being, impressed, again and again by the kind of session we have and the kind of opportunity the students have to be so lucky actually to have someone to give you that sort of perspective. Because, as I said before, not many people are fortunate to even have, such support. You probably would be good with your academics, but you might not really know what you want next. So my suggestion now, I think, on the topic of choosing a career, early career option would be to basically start early, meaning start, thinking in that sense. That could also mean that you do a lot of research, you meet a lot of people, the right people, discuss. You can, be open about your ideas. You can explain about what interests you, what might not interest you. Get a lot of insights on what people really do and how. I mean, they do their work, and if that really is what you want, and enhance your skills, your people skill, how you communicate, your hard skills, basically, if that is what is really needed. I think most importantly, I would say, in the current times, in this pandemic that we are, a lot of people have lost their jobs, a lot of people. And I think a few of us who have their jobs are very, very fortunate. So it's really important that we also have a perspective of sustainable jobs. I mean, what kind of industries would do better, and what kind of skills are needed, to actually make sure that you have that job, and if you can do better. You might not necessarily be successful the first time you do it. And like Professor Abdul Wali said just now, that you don't, not necessarily have to do the best at it, but you should at least give it a try. I think that is where you have that mindset, that you're open to change, open to learning, and the ability is what matters. I think that entirely defines success, and that will lead you to the right direction, and and ultimately make you, that person that you would really want to be in terms of your career.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well said. And now we'll move to Nazma. So your few cents.
No, my thing is very great session today. We had a very great turnout. I hope this session today was really helpful.
I think it's if I have to interrupt, I think it's better than Hunar. Sorry, Hunt. Right? I don't think you had this kind of session at
No, we did not.
I think every university and college should have some, such sessions.
The perspective is what is needed.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you brought out such a generation, the now generation, us as being young people who are working in the workforce, we'll have a different outlook, compared to someone who's already experienced in the industry. So you had a platform here to learn from both of them, which is, a great opportunity for you guys. My 2 cents on this, the career options, definitely today's session, looks like an eye opener for all of us, actually. So yes, time is on your hands. So definitely my thing is be proactive. Career is, something that you have in your hands, your choice. So be proactive in what you're doing. What you can take out of this session today is, do the personality test. Find out what personality you are. And then start looking into, my way of looking into, given the times, given the constraints, you cannot go and do all of these activities in one shot. My, easy alternative to that is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a great platform for us to go and connect with, people who are working in these organizations and have a great experience, and, connect with them on a personal level, message them, what field you want to go into, what is your interest, what is the job that you would like to, see yourself in the future. Connect with these people on LinkedIn, and there are mentors on LinkedIn. So connect with these people, find out what skills you need for the job, what kind of experience, what kind of hard and soft skills, what is the day-to-day basis, what is their nature of work. This is the best way to find out, of course, doing internships, like Farhad said, doing internships, doing all of this. Yes, definitely it takes, a lot of experience is added to that. But at the same time, you need to be proactive from your end. You need to understand different perspectives, like what you did today. With this panel, you have all 3 of our perspectives. But at the same time, be proactive. Find out about other people's perspectives. The more perspectives, the better you understand yourself. I think that's the main thing, is understanding yourself in order to gear towards your career. Again, I want to emphasize, this is your career. So definitely be proactive, do that test, that Mr. Abdul Wali said, sir, put out the personality test to get an initial understanding of what you are, what personality you are. Then go into LinkedIn, find out, what kind of, employabilities are there, what kind of opportunities are there for you. And then after you find that out, connect with people on LinkedIn, find mentors on LinkedIn, ask them to mentor you and ask them to, tell you what their day-to-day life is. How are they, maneuvering, how are they climbing up the ladder of this corporate world? And, this is how you will understand. You will understand how to be successful. And coming back to that question of being success, everyone's success is different. Like Mr. Farhad said, for him, success might be, a certain position or a certain level in the industry. For a normal housewife, success might be seeing her children happy. So success is it's a lot of different, things. There are a lot of measures to success, definitely. So, but at the end of the day, definitely happiness does count, and also your ambition. You need to be ambitious to grow. So definitely be successful. Think with a growth mindset. That, I think, itself is success. And be optimistic, like Mr. Abdul Wali said. Be optimistic about every situation that comes towards you. Don't constrain yourself. Like we had some of the polls saying, no, India is not, the luxury. Please don't do that. Please, try to explore, try to observe your opportunities, try to see what you can do best in what you have right now. What kind of situations suit you better? How can you, maneuver yourself? How can you push yourself to get to where you want to be? So this is my 2 cents on it. And hopefully, I think this session.
Yeah, but I also want to add something to what Nazma said here about success. I think the fact that we have had this session today and the topic of the session about starting a career early is itself a sign of success for the students.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all so lucky to be in this position today, to have, someone helping you with that sort of a mindset. So congratulations to all of you.
Yes.
To actually be successful. I think you already are where you are today, and that defines your success. I don't think anybody would have been in this position amongst us. And even if I was to ask, you could check with your friends that, no one really is in the position that you are today to actually get such a picture, the bigger picture. But at the same time, I also want to tell everybody here that, you're only a few. You might know a lot more people out there who are probably doing well in their school or their education, but they might really not have that perspective. So pick up right from here. Just today should be the time where you decide and get started, even if that means after the session taking that personality test. Get started, get that direction. You don't have to know what you want to do right tomorrow, but then putting yourself in that path is what is needed. Get going, get started. And also, if you can help people along the process, because I think I am also an Indian, so we have this thing in our culture of competitiveness. We all want to do better than the other. So we might not really be, some people might not want to help others with what worked well for them. So if you're in the process and you realize something didn't work for you, someone else is doing it, give your input, have a conversation, speak to people, and help others, help yourself, communicate. And I think that's the best way to go about it.
Thank you. Well said. Well said. So I would like to, really appreciate their enthusiasm and their compliments. But I would like to give you again a small note. Success is not individual. You may be successful, but society may fail. Okay. But engineers, as I said, first the success is the society, right? The betterment of human condition. So that should be the goal. If you are successful and your family failed, no use. If you are successful, your society fails, no use. Okay. So success defined, not the position, not the money, but the happiness of the society, the happiness of the family, the happiness of the company where you are. Okay. So don't get into that syndrome, right? And don't try to, stretch yourself, right? But at the same time, be happy. Be happy whatever you do. This is, I think, make you more realistic and the whole society successful. So these are my, again, 1 cent. Okay, thank you, students. I think it's a wonderful session today. I think on one of my best session today, and I had a great young talent here. And also, thank you. I think it has been 3 hours, and you were listening so patiently. I think I would like to really appreciate you, not the panel and myself. So let's appreciate the
we have taken the first step by being a part of this digital internship.
Exactly.
So you're already on the right track. So just do well.
Exactly. So I love you, and I'm sure. I think, as I said, it's a lifetime. The companionship with Hunar. I'm really thankful, and at the same time appreciate your time. And if you have only one last question, then we will end this session. Anybody have a great question, or we can end. Pranita, Nitish, Ishan, thank you so much. Nitish and Pranita, Vijay, all the panelists and co-hosts who supported us today. And I take this opportunity also, those who joined, even though they are not part of the internship, they joined to see exactly what is this, right? I'm sure they got, I think, this 3 hours, so spending time 3 hours in a movie theater. I'm sure it has become definitely what than spending your time in theater. Okay, so thank you so much, and this is end of the session. Hope you have tomorrow one more session. On Sunday, this is going to be the different session. Now you know how to choose your career. On Sunday, you are going to listen from the industry, right? If you choose this career, what they're expecting, right? What industry is expecting from you if you want to become something, right? So this is what going to be, again, another panel discussion. I'm sure if this panel, end panel has time, they can join and they can debate with the seniors. And I think hopefully it will be more fruitful and useful to you. Okay, thank you so much. Say hi to this panelist, and Pranita, Vijay, Ishan, Sonu, Pranita, thank you so much being a good host and
Thank you,
support.
sir.
And
Thank you
please
for
give
the inspiring and informative session, sir. All of the 3 panelists. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. So please show your thumbs up, everyone. Cool. So see you tomorrow for the one more session we have from Mr. Bhavani Prasad. He's the co-founder of Axden software company. He runs a small software company. He's one of my good friend, and he's going to share how to work in a small software company, right? And how to start a small software. Tomorrow, bye-bye. Take care and stay safe.